wherever you are in the globe today, watching and thinking about hurling, this is the place you'll want to be. Croke Park, Dublin, All-Ireland Hurling Final Day, Galway against Cork. Let's take the check on the teams. Once again, Cork will start with the same team that began against Clare. Ronan Curran will have felt some pressure after he was replaced in the semi-final, but the half-back line remains intact. And at the other end of the field, Brian Corcoran starts his 5th All-Ireland final. Remember, he missed the 2003 decider. But it's 3 in a row for Joe Dean, a 4th final in all, and the Cork Danger Man has scored 13 points in All-Ireland finals so far. Well, there's a general contentment in the West so far. No changes from the 15 that put Kilkenny out of the championship. It's a 21st championship game for cornerback Ollie Canning, while Fergal Healy and David Tierney are paired together in midfield for the 3rd game running. And much attention up front will centre on the hat-trick hero of 3 weeks ago, Niall Healy. But as ever, the man to watch out for here is the wonderfully talented Damien Hayes, already a candidate, surely, for Galway's Hurler of the Year. And if he keeps on going the way he is, he might well be National Hurler of the Year, Michael Dagnan.
Absolutely, Jerry. He's having a great year. But what an occasion. Perfect day after all the rain we had during the week. And what I'm really looking forward to is 2 hurling teams. You know, they're absolutely, from 1 to 15 in both teams, pure hurlers. Coming near the match, I fancy Cork all year, Jerry, as I've often said to here. But, you know, just coming close to the match now, Limerick or Galway look really strong. A lot will depend on the Cork half-forward line. They haven't been playing well all year. Ronan Curran and Brian Corcoran both replaced the last day. And I think that might just give them the edge because...
momentarily.
Cyril Farrell, county loyalties aside, you have a free bet of €1,000. You want to go home from Dublin with money in your pocket. Who's going to win?
A lot of money. I think Liam Dunn will be taking the cup this evening, going back to Clarenbridge. Bonfire's alive.
Sure.
I'll hold the money, right?
Seamus Roach, the referee in charge. Huge sense of expectation. And already it's hotting up down there, but like the semi-final, they're at it again before we can even get underway. And Seamus Roach again looking at his watch, and they're having little tussles everywhere and anywhere. In the end, common sense prevails. Match gets underway. It's the 117th All-Ireland Hurling Final, and it is Galway who play from left to right. If there is a light breeze out there, it favours Galway for the opening 35 minutes. Into the middle of the field here. Taking that ball away was Ollie Canning. Sending it along beyond Ger Farragher. Easy one for goalkeeper Donal O'Cusack to launch Cork's first attack. Down towards Kieran Murphy, who switched across to left half forward. There's several switches around, and I can see already this is in towards Timmy McCarthy, who's moved in towards the inside forward line. One back there by David Collins, swinging it away downfield for Galway, in towards David Ford. Runs on towards Niall Healy, struggling to get it up onto his stick. Farragher comes to his aid. 45 metres out from the Cork goal, looking for the opening score of the match. Has he got it? Not quite. He went close. Galway were looking for the perfect start. Ger Farragher, who's had a magnificent campaign so far.
I think Galway will be happy enough, Ger. They've settled very quickly. There's a lot of talk about the lack of experience in the Galway team, but it's a little known fact that 12 of this Galway team have All-Ireland minor medals, 6 or 7 of them were here in 2001, so I think, you know, they're not inexperienced at all. That's
Fergal Healy in midfield. It'll be interesting to see how he does alongside David Tierney against Cork's Tom Kenny and Jerry O'Connor. I noticed that Pat Mulcahy and Brian Murphy have switched corners as well, and Pat Mulcahy is marking Ger Farragher. He's at left corner back, switches in the Cork forward line as well, but it particularly involves Ben O'Connor and Timmy McCarthy switching flanks. Pat Mulcahy racing back there to try and win primary possession here, ahead of Farragher. Linking up with his team captain, Sean O'Halpine. Cork tried to win it there with Ronan Curran. Galway applying the pressure early on, anxious to get right into this match and settle from an early stage in towards the dangerous Damien Hayes. Ball lurking around there still. In the end, it's John Gardner, nips in, takes possession, gets away from Hayes. Listen to the roar of the crowd. Over 82,000 people are here, and that's going to be a free in. There was a push. The push was by the very talented Ollie Canning. So first chance for Cork to get themselves a score after just over 2 minutes of play, and it's going to be Ben O'Connor who will take it. We mentioned players who are watching it everywhere and anywhere, or people watching it everywhere and anywhere in the world. He was telling me that a friend of his from the club, Keith Morrissey, is out in Dubai watching it, member of the Newton Chandran Club. Well, he's giving it maximum care and maximum attention. Every opportunity could be crucial, and Ben has taken the first scoring opportunity, and Cork have taken the lead. Happy fans up on Hill 16. Hill 16 today is a mix of maroon and white and red and white, and there's some Limerick support in there as well. Limerick who did well, but not quite well enough in the minor final, which was won by Galway. Liam Donoghue, the captain for Galway, all the way through, again up towards Niall Healy, peeling away from full forward. This is Damien Hayes showing spirit and determination, looking to draw level immediately. First opportunity for Hayes, but that has gone wide of the target. Well, he really is quite a classy player and a very dangerous man. Very brave forward as well. Donald Cusack pucking it out. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of variation he brings into those puck outs today. Ben O'Connor has got into top of the right. Coming out here is Tony O'Gregan. Losing possession, losing his way, swallowed up by 3 Cork players. One of them was Brian Corcoran, who went for it, but has missed just to the right. Still 1 point to no score.
Yeah, it was a wide there by Brian Ger, but that's the quality he brings to the Cork forward line. He's great at hooking and blocking. You know, he followed out Tony O'Gregan there, again 1 possession back. Okay enough start, Ger, you know, after all the hype, but that's to be expected. You know, the first 5 or 10 minutes, a lot of these players just be settling into the occasion.
Massive occasion. David O'Sullivan touching it down, getting enough on it there to Ronan Curran. Stopped here by Niall McCarthy. His marker this afternoon is going to be Shane Kavanagh. It's Derek Hardiman who's chasing after him now. McCarthy was trying to link up there with Kieran Murphy, who's playing left half forward. Here he is, wearing number 13. From the Sarsfields club, trying to make some inroads here. Looking for a second score for the Cork team. And that's going towards the right. 2 wides now for Cork. Well, after all the hype and the intensity, Michael, in the build-up to a final like this, it can take a while for the players just to hit their normal rhythm and their normal pace.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll often find the first 10 minutes of an Ireland final there might only be a point or 2 scored, but then it'll take on its own life, and hopefully, you know, the hurling will improve.
That's a good puck out as far as Ger Farragher. Trying to get possession. Comes back here towards Jerry O'Connor. The man with boundless energy and great hurling skill. Down towards Brian Corcoran, who peeled away from Tony O'Gregan. Got inside his man, now going to try and make a better angle for himself. That's a great individual score by Corcoran. Twice he's been the hurler of the year. But the delivery of the ball that time, and the way in which Corcoran got away from O'Regan, was ball watching.
Quick poke out there from Liam Donoghue.
Up towards his own full forward, Niall Healy. Again, it is David O'Sullivan who's winning the exchanges. Sean O'Halpine, Cork's captain, fired up. Down towards Corcoran again. Broken down by Tony O'Gregan this time. Hardiman in quickly after it. That's Shane Kavanagh, number 6, trying to get it up onto a stick, waiting for the corner man, Ollie Canning, to take it. Off the stick in the end there of Sean O'Halpine. Line ball to Galway. Each side trying to establish early mastery, and Cork will be the happier. Although Galway have shown plenty of spirit and resolve, but so far they failed to breach that very strong Cork defence. Richie Murray coming up to take this one, playing in his 14th championship match. Good ball in. Alan Kearns turns. That's the score Galway needed to settle them down after 7 minutes. Good play by Kearns, using his experience well. From the line ball, went straight into him, turned his man there, who's John Gardner. Not easy to do. Good score, 2-1. Well, the puck outs so far from Cork are long, all the way down into their half-forward line. None of the short stuff we've seen so far this season. That's Damien Joyce missing it the first time, getting it out here to Derek Hardiman. Off the stick there of Pat Mulcahy, trying to deflect it away from the Galway forward. The tenacity of Niall Healy evident here, the diagonal ball across. Cork have been expecting that because that's been a Galway pattern all through this championship season. What a run to the centre by Tom Kenny, letting it fly, going for it and getting it. 3 points to 1. Tom Kenny's first of the afternoon. Good solo run. You may remember against Clare, he went all the way in. His shot was saved on that occasion by Davy Fitzgerald. He was happy to take a point here.
Yeah, it's a great score, Ger, and the Cork midfield definitely have the better of the early exchanges. Neither David Turner or Fergal Healy have managed to get on any ball yet.
Galway making a nervous start, but then they made a nervous start against Kilkenny as well, and we know what happened afterwards. That's a line ball to Cork. Derek Hardiman arguing the point. Decision a good one.
I think it's a good move by Cork, Ger, switching Brian Murphy over onto Damien Hayes. You know, Pat Mulcahy, very good player, but he's big and strong like Farragher, and Murphy's a much better man marker, so very, very clever move and working well for Cork so far.
There's also a physical similarity between Murphy and Damien Hayes. This is won by the Galway number 2, Damien Joyce, almost losing his way, needing assistance, getting it from David Collins. Good ball down towards Niall Healy. But the break's been picked up by the Cork half-back line. Sean O'Halpine lashing it away down the field towards Corcoran. Beautiful balance, what control. Free man outside, Niall McCarthy. That's a classic score. That's as good as you'll find anywhere. It's a 7th point of the campaign, but what a contribution Brian Corcoran made to that point by Niall McCarthy.
Jared, it's very apparent Cork are playing a much more direct game today. You know, Sean Oakes after getting 3 or 4 balls straight in on top of Brian Corcoran, and he has the experience in there and the physical strength and what skill. He's obviously out to prove a point today. He'll be very disappointed taking off the last day. A brilliant score there from Cork.
Liam Donoghue from Claren Bridge. That's batted in midfield by Jerry O'Connor. Cork winning the exchanges. Timmy McCarthy now. His duel this afternoon is against David Collins. He's 1 of 3. Very game player, Timmy McCarthy. 28th championship match this afternoon for him. So all of the pressure so far has been on the Galway backs. Cork are asking a lot of questions. David Collins getting a ticking from the referee, Seamus Roach, for that last foul. John Gardner inside his own 65-metre line. Light breeze against him. Going towards the right, a slip by the fullback. Corcoran has it again. It's causing problems for Tony O'Gregan. This time, no problems with the final shot from a Galway point of view. But 3 between them after 10 minutes. Again, a quick puck out here. Galway are trying this tactic and Cork are responding. Ronan Curran. It's a great run all the way down by Ronan Curran. What a block that time by Derek Hardiman. Goes back to Timmy McCarthy on his left-hand side. Over the bar and everything is going right for the champions. Cork are flying. They've made the best start.
Yeah, and John, I think what's very significant, Timmy McCarthy, Niall McCarthy, Ronan Curran, Brian Corcoran, all players that, you know, their form has been questioned coming up to the final. Every one of them have started very, very well. Just see Derek Hardiman coming across there, a superb block on Ronan Curran. But John, Timmy McCarthy has scored now, Niall McCarthy has scored, Corcoran has scored, Curran has settled in well, Sean Oakes is back to his best so far, so ominous for Galway at this stage.
That runs all the way through towards Niall Healy. He limps from that, he's fouled. It's going to be a free from the 20-metre line. Galway need to tag on a couple of scores quickly. They also need to keep their composure and realise that with a 70-minute game, there's a long, long way to play. Diarmuid O'Sullivan has been ticked for that last foul on Niall Healy. It gives Ger Farragher a chance to tap this over the bar. Waiting for the running repairs to be completed, but what a good start by Brian Corcoran in that duel with Tony O'Gregan. Tony Og has been tried in several central positions this year. Farragher has been masterful from frees. Good free, nicely put over the bar. Not the easiest on that side for a left-handed striker, but he's done well. 5-2. Donald O'Cusack from Cloyne. dropping it into the inside forward line. Again, Derek Hardiman does really well. Good ball up towards Ger Farragher, trying to steal a march on his man, but it's Diarmuid O'Sullivan in there in the thick of the action. Ronan Kern trying to roll it up onto his stick, the number 6. Galway persisting, comes out towards Sean O'Halpine. Dances out of trouble, uses the short passing movement. Galway were anticipating that. They converged on him quickly, but there was a foul. Rather than a fair shoulder to shoulder, it was a shoulder into the chest. The rock was not going to be moved with this challenge here by Richie Murray.
It was a hefty hit on the same journey over the course of the game. You know, a few of those hits have taken out of you. I think the Galway half-back line need to get into the game. Derek Hardiman is doing quite well, but Shane Kavanagh and David Collins, you know, aren't getting on the ball, and they have to start dominating in that area to get themselves back into the game.
Problem has been, of course, it's very difficult to say who is Galway's centre half-back all through this championship. They've varied it quite a bit. That's out that time by Shane Kavanagh, but loose ball straight to Tom Kenny, who's already got a point, and he's got a second. 2 out of 2. Tom Kenny can do no wrong in the middle of the field, winning the duel along with Jerry O'Connor. This is it, loose ball, nobody near him, nobody within yards, an easy shot, 6-2. Richie Murray for Galway, having to go way back into his own half-back line to get latitude, gets it up as far as David Tierney. Start in the semi, needs to really perform here. Fergal Healy blocked down, chance to pick it up again, challenged by Jerry O'Connor, runs loose towards Niall Healy for Galway, but it's Jerry O'Connor is back there, winning it again, linking up with his goalkeeper Donald O'Cusack, a huge long relieving clearance. Galway have players in strong numbers back there in that left half back position, but Cork still managed to win it, and it's freed up as far as Brian Corcoran, into space. Niall McCarthy suddenly popping up atop of the right. And if he won that one, I think he should be in Shelbourne Park next Saturday night for the Derby final. Puck out to Galway. And they've taken it again very quickly. 3 in a row now, and Cork were falling asleep somewhat. Diarmuid O'Sullivan rises up to that long ball in from Hardiman. It comes back towards Ger Farragher. Quick as you like. Farragher crisply delivered it over the bar. And he's got 2. And it's 6-3. And a bit like the semi-final between Kilkenny and Galway, the mastery by one team, but Galway are only 3 behind.
Yeah, there's only 3 points, but I think it's interesting. We expected Cork short game and the Galway more direct, and it's complete opposite. Galway are working short puck-outs, and their midfielders are trying to go very, very deep to create room for their half-forward line. So it's an interesting clash of styles, but it's completely different from what I expected.
Brian Corcoran out to Niall McCarthy. He's got a man over. That was Ben O'Connor, blocked down well by Ollie Canning. Coming in there like a truck was Shane Kavanagh, linking up once again. Diarmuid O'Sullivan back down defiantly, runs all the way through, dangerously in there. A chance here, and Ben O'Connor has scored. The opening goal of the game is Ben O'Connor's in the 16th minute. Well, the defence was in bits, and Ben was in for his 3rd ever championship goal. Look at the amount of space. Galway were all over the place. From Diarmuid O'Sullivan's long ball all the way through to Ben O'Connor, and he gleefully put it into the back of the net. Damien Hayes trying to touch it down, waiting for David Ford to come onto it. Now it's Alan Kearns. He's got a goal chance. Great save. Good save by Donald O'Cusack. Galway have it again, picking it up here with Ger Farragher. Blocked down by Sean O'Halpine. Going back is Jerry O'Connor. Blocked down again by Farragher this time. Everybody putting their lives on the line, as it were. Brilliant. Totally committed play by both teams. But that is some few minutes. The Cork goal and a brilliant save at the other end immediately by Cusack.
Yeah, Jared, the Cork goal made by a brilliant clearance by Diarmuid O'Sullivan, got out in front of Niall Healy. But I think Alan Kearns should have carried the ball in. He hit it a bit early. He was straight through on the goalie, and he poked it, and a nice height for the goalie. Good save by Donald Logue, but you know, if he carried it in a bit closer, I think he would have had an easy finish.
Derek Hardiman lobbed in there. Galway looking for something special here, but again repelled. John Gardner getting it out to the other wing back, to Sean O'Halpine. Pat Mulcahy keeping it low down towards Dean, and Dean has stepped out over the line, and it's going to be a line ball for Galway. Oh, he's changed his mind now, and it's going to be, yes, it is a Galway ball. Originally, I think he was giving it to Cork.
Here's Alan Kearns now, Jerry.
Yeah.
Just watch her say. No, maybe he hit it at the right time, looking at the replay there, but you know, if he put it down lower, he left it a nice height for Don Logan, a good save.
And the story of All-Ireland hurling finals is littered with wonderful saves by goalkeepers like that can turn matches. But it's an early stage in the game. We're talking about turning points. Here's Damien Hayes, and that one has gone wide. Galway will have to keep their resolve and their confidence now as high as possible. That's a third wide for them.
Jerry, if you look down the field now, there's only 4 or 5 of the Cork forwards within their own half of the field. They're making loads of room for the forward line, and they're dragging the Galway backs all over the place.
Yes, the Cork half forwards have gone in towards midfield to allow as much space as possible. But David Collins now countering attack, and the referee has spotted something inside. I think it's O'Sullivan and Niall Healy. It is, and David O'Sullivan, who's already been ticked, is now going to get a card. Good vigilance by Seamus Roach. He was a good 50 metres away from that, but he saw it, and David O'Sullivan is on a yellow card.
I think that's the battle of the game so far between Dermot. Niall Healy has been out in front 3 or 4 times. Dermot made the clearance for the goal. Great battle going on there, and young Healy's only 19, 20 years of age.
Niall Healy, who got those 3 goals against Kilkenny. Ger Farragher, 2-9 that day, and that's swept beautifully over the bar. That's his 3rd point of this match, and it's 1-6 to 4 points. Just listen to the crowd. I hope you can get the atmosphere. It's magnificent. Again, the goalkeeper goes long and look for the space, and 2 Galway players go for the 1 ball centre half and full back, but in the end, fortunately, it breaks to Fergal Healy up towards Damien Hayes. Ronan Curran trying to get it up onto a stick, succeeds. Out as far as Jerry O'Connor. Going to turn onto his favourite right side to Tom inside, this time towards Kieran Murphy. Down towards Ben O'Connor, the goal scorer, breaks kindly for David Collins, and a good clearance by Collins way back. But again, it's Cork who are picking up these loose clearances by Galway backs. That's been a problem in the past for them. Here's Timmy McCarthy, the little hand pass in to Tom Kenny. Then the race through the centre. A couple of Galway players converging, but never getting quite tight enough. It's gone wide in any case. But Tom Kenny is enjoying the latitude of coming through, and his marker is David Tierney, and he's not getting in to pin him with tackles. Conor Hayes must be concerned. Sean Silk there alongside him.
Jared, it's very unusual for an All-Ireland final. It's so loose so early in the game. You know, there's an awful lot of room out there, and both sets of midfielders are playing very loose. They're all travelling all over the field, looking to pick up loose ball.
This time it's Ronan Curran was waiting. Nipping in instead is Richie Murray. Again, the diagonal ball in, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan batting it out into the middle. Ronan Curran picking it up. He's been suffering from an injury for much of this season. Back to his best, Cork are hoping. Derek Hardiman, superb at right half back. Again, angling it in there. Time and again, they're trying to pick out Damien Hayes. He's moved out of position at the moment. Kearns nicely into Niall Healy, given space, and he makes the most of it. Niall Healy's first point. Galway needing that break, and there's only a goal and a point between the teams.
Yeah, Gerard, I think Galway have settled well now since the goal. They've scored the last couple of points, and they're beginning to find their feet. Derek Hardiman in particular is keeping them together in the half-back line.
Yes, they've got that cohesion going, and they're getting the confidence. And now there are 3 of them waiting for it in the middle of the field. Alan Kearns, one of them. Target practice, but dropping it short to Donald O'Cusack. A mistake by Galway, because it allows Cork now to counter-attack productively all the way down towards Brian Corcoran. They wait for the breaks in the half-forward line. Dean nipping in, haven't seen too much of him so far, although he was close when the goal was scored by Ben O'Connor. Could have been his as well. An unfair shoulder, the referee has decided. He's having a word with Damien Joyce, and he's checking him for his troubles. It's Dean against Joyce, and it gives Joe Dean an opportunity to get his first point of the match. A free from just inside the 45-metre line, straight in front of the goal. Rolled up confidently and struck expertly. 1-7 for Cork, 5 points for Galway.
See, David Ford has been moved out of centre forward with a switch there with Richie Murray straight away. You know, it just shows you coming up to the game, Ford having the year of his life, Curran under form, and next thing Curran, you know, after 20 minutes completely dominating on the switch there straight away.
David Ford has gone to right half forward. His marker, Sean O'Halpine. Following the flight path here of this ball, Brian Murphy came to try and collect. Instead, it's John Gardner, flicked across to Sean O'Halpine. David Ford chases after him, but in vain. Ollie Canning coming to take this. Little hand pass as far as Alan Kearns. Two experienced men. Two men who were there in 2001 when Galway lost the final that year to Tipperary. They don't want to see it happen again. And his hands go to his head. That missed effort by Alan Kearns. It was a really good chance.
Roger, they've had a few bad wides down that side. Damien Hayes has had a couple of wides, and now Alan dropped the previous ball into the goalie and it ended up in a free over the bar.
He's had 4 shots so far, Alan Kearns. He's made 1.
Yeah, and he's that type of player, Jerry. He can score 4 or 5 points and a half very easily, but he's missing a few chances there today.
Again, it's Niall McCarthy adding to that against Shane Kavanagh. Went off the Cork man's stick. Line ball to Galway. The linesman across there is Barry Kelly from Westmeath. Well, the Galway fans looking for their team to produce something special, and they're trying to give them every bit of encouragement and support that they can possibly find. Damien Hayes, he's been double marked over there, and there was a push into his back. Just off shot, I can see Alan Kearns trying to gee up the crowd as if to say, come on, get behind us even more. Here he is, ready for this free, which will be taken by Ger Farragher. Nicky English there and Anthony Daly. Men who have sampled the joy of being here on the big day before, winners both.
It's very unusual to see the two of them talking to each other, been nice and polite. There wasn't much of that over the years.
Ger Farragher putting this one over the bar. 4 points now for Ger Farragher, 3 of them coming from frees. So again, only 4 between them. Ger Farragher 100% from the frees so far. Real cat and mouse situation. Cork thought they were going to be able to steal a march, but you don't do that in an All-Ireland final. Galway, very game, very talented, very young side. Brian Corcoran to Ben O'Connor, who switched across, effortlessly struck, beautiful point. A goal and 2 for Ben O'Connor, made for him once again by Brian Corcoran. He is starring there in that duel against Tony O'Gregan, and Ben 3 from 3. Liam Donaghy hoping to be the first winning captain who played in goal of a hurling final, I think since Noel Skehan did it in 1972. Paddy Barry was a goalkeeping star and captain of Cork 2 years earlier. Here comes Damien Hayes, lobbed inside here well towards David Tierney. We haven't seen much of him so far. Here he was almost hooked. Lost it anyway because of the presence there of Brian Murphy, and it comes out to Brian Murphy again. Good play by Murphy, out to John Gardner, and it's swept away out as far as Tom Kenny. 3 players getting the ball down long. Brian Corcoran keeping it in play, but straight at the legs of Tony O'Gregan on his left-hand side, delivering a good ball down towards Alan Kearns. Good catch, but had he stepped out over the line, he had. Feeling his shoulder.
That's a free in, Jerry.
Yeah, the challenge must have come in late that time, and it was an illegal challenge.
Yeah, here's David Tierney. I think he should have taken an easy point. A great hook there by Brian Murphy following back. Maybe Tierney better looking at to get a free in there, but they've got one here now out on the sideline. I'm just wondering now, Joe, will we see Kevin Broderick introduced, maybe before half-time even? I think that Galway could do with him.
I know from people in the West they were saying they just can't wait to see Kevin Broderick come on, but he's had an operation during the summer, and when he comes on, just listen to the cheer. If this goes over, listen to the cheer for Galway, and it has, and it's Ger Farragher again. 5 points for Ger Farragher, their leading scorer, and the only other points have come from Niall Healy and from Alan Kearns. Look at the style here. He's one of the great strikers of the ball, Ger Farragher. Real stylist, real talent. Cork again putting the pressure on the Galway half-back line. They're working very hard this afternoon. not allowing Galway to settle. Timmy McCarthy earning the plaudits that time. So a free to the rebel county as the fans look on in glorious sunshine. Is he happy? Not quite sure. Well, Ben O'Connor is going to come out to take this one. Jerry Wallace, one of those in the background, one of the Cork trainers, along with Sean McGrath. So Ben to hit this one. He's got a goal and 2 so far. Very near the sideline, and the Galway fans think he's taking too long about it and time wasting. But he's put it over the bar. Another one from Ben O'Connor, last year's captain. Puck out taken quickly from Derek Hardiman away down the field. That's going to be the Galway tactic. This is Damien Hayes. Hasn't scored so far. Needs a bit of support. Coming through was David Tierney, and that's over the bar from Tierney. And it came from the very quick puck out by Liam Donoghue to Derek Hardiman. There were 4 players involved for Galway, and it finished with a score. Again, only 4 points the margin.
I think Galway will be very happy, Jerry. Yeah, but Galway haven't really settled down. They're not playing. They're just surviving on scraps, but they're only 4 points in it, as you say. And if they can keep it to 3 or 4 points at half-time, they'll be delighted with themselves.
Yeah, Cork are playing better, but Galway are in this match in a big, big way.
Yeah, they're taking their frees well, and Farrer is keeping them in it with frees. You know, they have missed a few chances as well in general play, so they're maybe doing better than we're giving them credit for.
Here's Damien Hayes. Lovely turn. Taking on Brian Murphy. Needing to go back to David Ford. Put under pressure there by Ronan Curran, and that was enough. Cusack out as far as Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Nobody marking Sean O'Halpine. Should be David Ford. Big gaps, very loose, as Michael Dignan was saying a little while ago. David Collins again on his left-hand side. 1 against 2, and it's the one man, the Cork captain, Sean O'Halpine, who wins it. Coming forward, about to be challenged by Derek Hardiman. Still manages to lash that one, but indirectly so, and out over the end line and wide. Look at this for a catch, and there were a couple of more Galway players around him when he was getting up that time.
Yeah, he's a lot sharper today, Jordan. I've seen him all year. A bad wider at the end of it, but it was worth probably having a go.
Yeah, but it must be frustrating for the inside forwards like Joe Dean and Brian Corcoran when those would go straight over your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Galway have poked a couple of balls into Donald Cusack as well. You know, it's better off playing it in front of the full forward line. Sean O'Halpine, of course, got his first point during the summer from play, so maybe he's getting a bit carried away. After.
Well, he's got 2 so far, Michael.
Oh, he's got 2 so far.
Yeah, he got another one in the semi-final.
He's obviously trying to make it 3.
Well, John Gardner coming across to take the sideline ball. Cork are in no particular hurry. They're delaying quite a lot on all of these, what you might call set pieces, frees and line balls. This one's a line ball. Frustrating some of the Galway followers. And that time Timmy McCarthy was going in on that. It's going to be a throw ball by the referee to end the uncertainty. Thumbs up from some young Galway fans and a Cork fan there as well. Now Damien Hayes swiftly delivered into Fergal Healy. The midfielder crisply strikes and puts it over the bar. His first, reducing the leeway. A goal between the teams. That goal scored after 60 minutes by Ben O'Connor.
Yeah, Jared, I think after Cork dominating the middle of the field in the first 20 minutes, in the last 10 minutes David Tierney has had a point, should have had a second one, and Fergal Healy has got on there. There's so much room in the middle of the field. It's ideal for hurlers like Fergal Healy, who's so skillful. He'll get a lot of ball if it stays loose. Mention
of skill, that's a very skillful cornerback, Damien Joyce. And there's free to Cork. Ronan Curran was fouled. Referee having a word with one of the Galway players. It's David Ford for striking out that time, and Ronan Curran is shown in the book, so it's a ticking. No more of that, or you'll get a yellow like Diarmuid O'Sullivan got earlier. It was more of a throwdown than anything else, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just facing the wrong way, and you know, he wasn't really watching the ball, but there wasn't much in it.
So running repairs for Ronan Curran at this stage. Taken off in the last 2 matches after making a very bright start. John Allen, who had to make those tough calls in the semi-final against Clare. St Finbarr's man. John Allen is a St Finbarr's man as well, as indeed is Ger Cunningham, one of the 5 selectors. Well, Ronan's okay, and it's going to be a free to Cork, and it'll be John Gardner from Piercing. Again, the crowd here raise the decibel level. It's a big one from John Gardner, but going to the right, and he has put it wide. Cork had much the better start to this game, but they've now 7 wides. They've still got a goal up, but Galway have come back strongly. Referee having a quick word there. I'm sure he's probably telling the 4th official how many minutes to be added on.
Well, actually, Jerry, he pulled for the short puck out there, and all the players weren't outside the 21. You know, it's a very easy tactic. If the opposing team want to stop a short puck out, all they have to do is stay inside around the square, maybe the full forward or whatever, and the ref has to blow it up then because they're not outside the 21.
Brian Murphy under pressure. John Gardner coming in to help him, taking it away from him, linking up with Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Diarmuid O'Sullivan on his left-hand side, straight there beyond Kavanagh. Didn't cut it out, but Ollie Canning was coming in behind him to help. Now, Fergal Healy, blocked, hooked. Comes back out towards Jerry O'Connor again. And that time, Jerry O'Connor takes too many steps, and it's a free to Galway. There will be 2 added minutes to be played at the end of the 35. And Galway will hope to eat into that Cork lead with this upcoming free. They brought Ger Farragher all the way back into their own half back line, as it were, as Ben O'Connor is being treated for an injury. Farragher hitting. He's got the length. He hasn't quite got the accuracy. Gave it everything he had. Still 1-9 to 9 points. Even the umpire that time was telling the forwards to get outside the large rectangle while the puck out could be taken. In scoring chances so far, not much between them. Galway have actually created more scoring chances, 17 against 16 for Cork. And Galway have a chance of getting another. Into the corner, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan moving across there almost nonchalantly. Strong fellow. Out to Ronan Curran. Way down again into the inside forwards, won by Ollie Canning. Comes back out here again to Tom Kenny. Cork's midfielder taking on David Collins, very near the sideline. Racing through Tom Kenny, awkward angle, leaving it in towards Joe Dean, cut out brilliantly by Damien Joyce. Otherwise Dean was in for it. It's Ben O'Connor, it's Ben O'Connor instead. Hand pass back, however, here to his brother Jerry. Little block on it. Stopped once again here, this time by Tony O'Gregan. And Galway are finishing strongly, and their fans will get a lot of encouragement from this. Very little between them as we approach half-time. Still another minute of stoppage time to be played. The issue is very much hanging in the balance. Well, it's a very, very competitive game, if somewhat loose. Sean O'Halpine towards Timmy McCarthy this time, taking it down, getting onto it himself. Up as far as Niall McCarthy, Cork's 40 yards man. Almost taken away from him by David Collins, but it's taken away by Derek Hardyman. Nicely inside here, broken down by Niall Healy, coming across as Brian Murphy. It favours Ger Farragher, about to be challenged by Ronan Collins. He's fouled, it's a free in, and it's a sure Galway chance of getting another point here. Was there a tangle of legs there? Worth seeing that in reprise. Referees having words anyway. And more than that, shown the notebook there to Ronan Curran.
Well, it's a big game for Seamus Roach as well. I think in the semi-final between Kilkenny and Galway, he was accused maybe of losing a bit of control during the second half. But I've noticed since the start of the game, every sort of a tussle has been given frees. I felt myself there's been 3 or 4 frees during the first half that were very marginal. You know, they were just small enough clashes.
Well, it's hard to see what that one was for, but anyway, Ger Farragher has put it over. He's got 6 points, and the difference between the teams right now, just 2 points approaching the break. There was the contact involving Ronan Curran. He was ticked for that, and final seconds of the first half, in the 117th All-Ireland Final. It is Cork who go in just a little bit happier, marginally ahead. Some wonderful play early on by Brian Corcoran when the ball was being delivered to him. Ollie Canning has come really strong all through the match, as you expect. Great leader at the back for Galway. Galway have been finding a bit of cohesion, a bit of form. They've been finding their confidence as well. Cork know they're in a battle. The champions fighting to get 2 in a row.
Yeah, and I think Galway will go in happier. They were 6 points down after Ben O'Connor's goal. They've been back to 2 points, and they're just really getting into the game in the last 10 minutes. And they'll probably gain comfort from the way they finished against Tipperary as well. They'll take confidence from that.
And don't forget the Donal O'Cusack save, which was another key moment in the opening 35 minutes. Fans settling back into their seats at the end of the action at half-time. Cork 1-9, Galway 10 points.
Will that man there in your shot number 7 be lifting the Liam McCarthy Cup? We'll find out in about 35-40 minutes time. Let's rejoin Michael Linger.
Attendance today 81,136. Should be 82,300. What a shame there are spaces. Second half gets underway, and it's Galway attacking the Hill 16 end, and straight away Richie Murray sending it in long towards Niall Healy, who's gone back into full forward there. Switched out momentarily at the end of the first half, putting pressure on Diarmuid O'Sullivan immediately. Out to John Gardner, who's had a tough enough time over there against Alan Kearns, who's been getting shots and getting chances. Only converted one of them. Important key battles all over the place. Conor Hayes has had his 10 minutes with the team. Likewise, John Allen. Only 2 points between them. Galway's line ball, David Collins to take it. Stopped here by Brian Murphy, trying to balance it, and it's going to be a Cork ball. Brian Murphy playing in his 12th championship match today, and has had to mark some really good players during this season. And is on today Damien Hayes. Hayes hasn't scored so far. Great excitement, great sense of anticipation. Not the best line ball that John Gardner's ever taken, and everybody's appealing for it, and Barry Kelly is going to throw the ball in to end this indecision. That time it went off Alan Kearns, I think, and it's going to be a Cork ball. Let's have a little look at it again here. Just watch Alan Kearns. Did he touch it at last?
Ooh. Looked like Tom Kenny, didn't it?
It did indeed. And it's Tom Kenny who took it for measure. Rolled up to here by David Tierney, having to go chasing after it. It wouldn't come for him. David Collins now. Both teams trying to get the rhythm going once again. That's a very good catch by Damien Hayes. Stopped. Hand pass laid off beautifully for Kearns. Looking for the score. He's got it. Alan Kearns has got a second point. Getting those chances from John Gardner, as I mentioned moments ago.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, John. I think in the first half, Alan Kearns, he got 1 point, but he should definitely have got 2 or 3 more, and he had a good goal chance as well. And John Gardner just looks a little bit subdued for him. He's been playing so well all year. He's been Cork's best player. Even that last line ball, he only hit it a couple of yards. It's very unlike him.
Neil Ronan is about to come on. It'll be Cork's first change. They win ball with Niall McCarthy here, being forced out onto the edges somewhat. Back towards Tom Kenny again, under pressure. Easy one for the goalkeeper, Liam Donoghue. Good work by the Galway backs, forcing Cork to hit those difficult shots from some distance. Once again, it's Ronan Curran. He's had a good match. Hand pass back to Pat Mulcahy. Letting it fly in there towards Joe Deans. One very, very little there, because Damien Joyce is excelling. Not the best of clearances, though. Straight to Jerry O'Connor, trying to up his performance even more. The shot from O'Connor is over the bar. First point of the match for Jerry O'Connor. The team's going point for point, so it's as you were at the break, 2 between them. Watching it again in reprise. Cork's first of the second half. So Neil Ronan is on, and Kieran Murphy is being replaced. Well, that was Cork's first score in 10 minutes of this match. And Niall Healy once again picking it up here. The full forward for Galway. Not the best layoff, not giving Damien Joyce much opportunity. Brian Murphy was in quickly, but Joyce is nipping after it here. Or rather, Hayes getting it. And he takes too many steps in the corner, Damien Hayes, the man from Portumna, and it'll be a free out to Cork. Well, wherever he's around and whenever he's anywhere near goal, he spells danger. Players anxious to take little breathers even in these early stages of the second half because of the sheer intensity of the occasion. Donal O'Cusack putting pressure on the Galway backs again, and flies through the arms of Shane Kavanagh, needing Ollie Canning behind him. Back out to Kavanagh, driving it down. David O'Sullivan coming across, once again taking it in his stride. Always looks comfortable, difficult to dispossess. In the end, kicking it away to Tom Kenny in the centre. Loose ball picked up by Fergal Healy. Across this time to Farragher's corner. Pat Mulcahy's over there. It favours the Cork number 2. Beyond Sean O'Halpine. Ben O'Connor having switched positions across to left half forward at this stage. The goal scorer from the first half. The crucial score in the match so far. Fergal Healy back down, straight at John Gardner. Not good distribution. Gardner looking up, trying to pick out a colleague. Joe Dean slips, and again it's Damien Joyce. This time he's left it behind to Timmy McCarthy, taking on Shane Kavanagh. McCarthy again, knocks it out of the bar. He's had enormous critics over the years, but Timmy McCarthy usually comes good in finals, and he's got 2 this afternoon from 2 shots. It's back down with Alan Kearns, taking on Ben O'Connor. Good return by Galway. Alan Kearns, a 3rd point for him. Well, Galway are moving their inside forwards and their half forwards around quite a lot. Galway and Cork not picking them up. This has come to Jerry O'Connor. Hand pass back over there. Ben O'Connor blocked down, comes towards Joe Dean. This time he's pushed by Damien Joyce, and it's going to be a free to Cork. Joe Dean hasn't got many breaks so far from Damien Joyce. His only score has been from a free.
Yeah, Gerv, Pat Mulcahy should have been pulled back there with that short puck out. He wasn't outside the 21, and it should have been picked up by one of the umpires. It's ended up in a free in now for Cork, so it could be a crucial score at the end of the day.
Certainly could. Joe Dean, second free then, this one inside the 45-metre line. He's connected well, gets the distance, good accuracy, and those frees are very, very important. Once again, a goal between them. Very early stages in the second half. Both sides trying to lift their game up into an extra gear. Mulcahy misses completely. Runs on in there towards Niall Healy. Farragher in the follow-up. Mulcahy gets back without the stick. Needs assistance. Roland Curran bottled up by 2 or 3 Galway players. There's bound to be an extra Cork man around because of that, and it comes out to Jerry O'Connor. Quick look around. Beyond Ben, picked up by Hardiman instead. Crisscrossing again, the diagonal ball over into the corner towards Damien Hayes. Players are calling for it. In fact, it's David Ford who's got it, and he's put it wide. 6 wides now for Galway. It's exciting and it's frantic, but what should they be doing?
Well, I think Galway will be very disappointed. You know, they've had lots of possession at the start of the second half. Damien Joyce came out with a couple of great balls, and they gave away possession very cheaply. And they're just struggling, you know, for that bit of composure. Whereas Cork, I was just about to say Cork are taking their chances that bit better, you know, which they are generally.
That was Neil Ronan. That was his first opportunity. He's wearing number 22. Hands went to the head straight away, realising what a good chance it was.
But I think Galway need to throw caution to the wind. You know, like they haven't won All-Ireland for 17 years. They should just really, you know, start hurling. They're just playing a little bit well within themselves, and they're subdued. A lot of their players, like Richie Murray, hasn't hardly hit a ball since the start of the game. You know, should start just take on Cork more and attack them.
Here's Alan Kearns, released outside here towards Fergal Healy, and Fergal Healy lets fly with accuracy. He's got a second. 2 from 2. Good shooting by the midfielder. And once again, there are 2 points between these teams. In points, it's 15 to 30. We know what the champions have got. We're wondering whether Galway can lift it even more. They're under pressure. Ollie Canning standing his ground, and the pile-up will result in a throw ball by referee Seamus Roach. Waiting for the ball to come back. Game being played in a very good spirit, it must be said. No animosity whatsoever, but everybody wants to win the prize. The biggest one in hurling. It comes out towards Derek Hardyman, under a lot of pressure. Oof. Had real difficulty getting that ball away, and they're still in difficulty, but Shane Kavanagh, the centre half-back, gets it out here towards David Tierney. Got a good point in the first half. Needs to produce a bit more, but then so many players on both teams have more within their lockers, you feel. Alan Kearns giving it everything. 3 points so far. Taking on Diarmuid O'Sullivan. It's still Kearns trying to cut inside. Taking lots of steps. Referee says play on, ball's not lost in any case. In the end, Brian Murphy trying to wallop it out. Sean O'Halpine trying to get it up on his stick. Going past the 20-metre line, under good pressure there from Richie Murray. Again, there's more pressure coming in. The little snapshot, the jump for joy. But where's it gone? It's dropped short. Damien Hayes thought he'd got a point. Cusack's long clearance out of defence. Runs all the way up to Ben O'Connor. And where it might have been a point at one end for Galway, it's a point for Cork at the other. Ben O'Connor now with a goal and 4 points.
He's having a huge game, Derek Hardiman was the most influential Galway player for the first 30 minutes or so, but since Ben O'Connor has gone on him, he's got a couple of good points and he's covering an awful lot of ground.
Damien Hayes is trying to go out into the half-forward line. It's like as if they've got 4 half-forwards at this stage. Brian Murphy has followed him. Ger Farragher has gone in full forward right now on Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Trying to make the switches and the changes. Jerry O'Connor is described in the green helmet. Up towards Joe Dean. Trying to get more into the match. Good ball in towards Timmy McCarthy, taking on David Collins. Collins says dad is a Cork man, but very much they're all supporting Galway this afternoon, I'm sure, in the Collins household. Here comes Brian Corcoran. That's going to land over the bar. He's got a second. Brian Corcoran from Erin's Zone. The applause of the Cork fans ringing in his ears. And it's 114 to 13 points, slightly off balance, over his left shoulder. Great strike. No matter where you play him, he's a master. The man who came back, remember, last year. Here comes Tom Kenny. All of a sudden, Galway have dropped their intensity. Cork have seized it. They've taken the initiative, but it drops into the goalkeeper's hands. Liam Donoghue fouled on the way out by Joe Dean, free to Galway. The margin is 4 points.
Yeah, Sean Oak has changed, switch wings now and come over to Mark Allen Kearns. I'm actually surprised it took the Cork management so long to make that change. And as Richie Murray hasn't been in the game, and Sean Oak had him in his pocket over there, so Kearns has definitely been the danger man for Galway.
Fergal Healy. And beyond his brother Niall that time, but it's Ger Farragher, the new full forward, wearing number 13. He's fouled by Diarmuid O'Sullivan, and it's going to be a free in to Galway. I think he wanted to get an advantage that time, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan says, what was that all about? And a lot of the Cork fans are looking and sounding puzzled. But it's a free to Galway. Some decisions that people here don't know why they've been made. Ger Farragher to strike it. He's got 6 points so far, 1 of them from play, 5 of them from frees. Should suit a left-handed striker, but the angle was awkward, and it's just a little bit too awkward, and there are still 4 between them. Amazing that Ger Farragher had to wait until this year to add to his just 1 championship appearance back in 2002, which was then in an All-Ireland quarter-final against Clare. Don't allow Cusack to puck it out. Asking questions of the Galway backs once again. Tony O'Gregan needing Ollie Canning to come in to help. And then Derek Hardyman. Cut out well by Ronan Curran. Hand pass by Niall Healy. It was Damien Hayes who was trying to steal inside. He's still there, tenaciously in. That's a good opportunity for Richie Murray. Stopped on the goal line, and it's a goal for Galway! A goal for Galway scored by Damien Hayes. A point between them. in the 49th minute. This is it again here. Richie Murray was coming in, comes off the goalkeeper's legs, and it was prodded in by Damien Hayes under the falling body of Diarmuid O'Sullivan, and Galway are right back in it.
A super finish, a real corner forward goal. But Richie Murray again got away from John Gardner there with the goal chance. And John is just having one of those days where nothing is going right for him.
Derek Hardiman, all of the Galway players now will get renewed life from that, you can be certain. Sean O'Halpine trying to dispossess Alan Kearns, following him all the way up the field. Kearns has it. Down towards Damien Hayes. David Ford pulled across that one. A wild pull and the referee in quickly just to try and diffuse things somewhat. No sign of a book or anything like that, but it certainly was painful. Have a look at this again here as we watch Brian Murphy come across here. David Ford was ticked, but he hasn't been booked. Lack of consistency there, you feel?
Well, yeah, you know, definitely a bookable offence. Haven't already been ticked, so you just wonder sometimes.
It's a free to Cork, and it's John Gardner who's going to take it. An expectant crowd looking up onto the big screen. Gardner realising every opportunity is vital. This one has been landed. Gardner's first successful free from distance. It's a huge free, and Cork are leading by 2. 15 minutes into the second half. An exciting All-Ireland hurling final. Lots of ebb and flow to it, lots of good skill. Back in towards Joe Dean, again Damien Joyce sticking really, really tight to him. Rather than getting out in front of him, he stays right behind him and he's breathing down his neck almost.
Yeah, very, very sticky, and suits as well. You know, he's not that tall either for a cornerback. He's a modern type cornerback, very, very skillful hurler.
Well, Ben O'Connor has discarded his helmet as well as Liam Donaghu prepares his defence. So both twins decide, well, what one does, the other will do. This is the goal scorer. Nicely cut. Great catch by Derek Hardiman. He's playing his heart out. Some great performances by players on both teams. Damien Joyce to the centre. Tom Kenny trying to take it. John Gardner next in, ahead of Richie Murray. Getting there ahead of Alan Kearns also. Up as far as Ben O'Connor, rolls it up. Jersey pulled by Hardiman, goes through. Still trying to get through. Difficult, impossible. And David Tierney has it back once again for the tribesmen, all the way through to Ger Farragher. Only 2 between them. Farragher has an opportunity to cut it to 1. He's done it! 1 point, the margin. With Ger Farragher's second point from play and his 7th of the day. It's 1:15 to 1:14. A real thriller at Croke Park on hurling's big day.
Yeah, I think Ger Farragher has proven the last day and again today that it's not just a free taker, super score there out in front. And I think that extra bit of room inside, you talked about the 2-man full forward line earlier, it's creating space for the Galway attack, they look more dangerous.
And bear in mind, Diarmuid O'Sullivan's on a yellow. Tom Kenny's flying, he's got a 3rd. Good score. Game is being played at almost 100 miles an hour, up and down the field, lots of scoring, everybody getting involved. Great return by Tom Kenny. Liam Donaghu, will he be collecting the cup at the end? 2 between them. John Gardner on his hands and knees, hoping it'll be Cork. Fergal Healy, back down towards Ger Farragher, having to come back, make a better angle. Now he needs support. Goes for the shot himself. Real individual effort if it made the target, but didn't quite. There were other options, there were other players inside, but he decided to go for it. Sometimes they work, many times they don't. We're still wondering when Galway will spring Kevin Broderick.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, Jeremy. You know, sometimes show faith in the lads that are out there. You know, you can make a change for the sake of it, and you know, where are they going to bring him in, who are they going to move around, what changes will have to be made.
That is true.
And sometimes you could maybe have to move 2 or 3 players to bring in one guy, and the whole thing could fall apart. So they've kept in the game well, they're only 2 points down, and you know, it's an All-Ireland final, so you have to stick maybe and have faith in the lads.
Beautifully balanced match. Conor Hayes hoping to be the man who has captained the team, coached by Cyril Farrell back in the 80s. and now as coach himself to lead his side. They're 2 behind. John Allen, who took up the reins of power after Donal O'Grady left the post as Cork coach and manager last year. Big challenge for him, big challenge for everyone. Ben O'Connor cutting it up towards Joe Dean, doesn't run for him, runs instead for Ollie Canning. Is it running for Galway right now? Not a good clearance, straight to Ben O'Connor, and Ben has knocked it over the bar. A goal at 5 for Ben O'Connor. Some great individual performances. I wouldn't like to be picking a man of the match from this.
Yeah, I think that's 3 times down the second half that Galway have mishit clearances or, you know, gone for short ones, and it's resulted in scores. And, you know, at this level, you just can't afford to
But that's been happening all season, hasn't it?
It has. You can't afford to giving away scores like that.
Brian Murphy under pressure, using his foot. David O'Sullivan coming across. Niall Healy shouldering. There's a free man. It's Sean O'Halpine rounding Ger Farragher. Great clearance under pressure. Down towards Neil Ronan, looking to get into it. Has 1 shot so far. Back there for Tony O'Gregan, blocked down well, and that is eventually deemed to be out of the sideline, and it's a line ball to Cork. This ball is being left for Jerry O'Connor, one of the terrible twins. Could well be that we're about to see the introduction of Kevin Broderick. That line ball coming in, defended well by Galway. They get it out to David Tierney. Coming across here is John Gardner, getting there ahead of his man. That's not the best of clearances. It favours Derek Hardyman. Nobody near him. He's got a player loose inside. Oh dear, is it going to go over? It is! Great point by Derek Hardyman. I say oh dear because he had a colleague totally unmarked. Richie Murray inside in front of goal. They might have been in for a goal chance, but they've got a point, and it's 117 to 115. That was a magnificent score by Hardyman from Mullia.
You could just see at the top of the camera though that Richie Murray was in acres of space inside, and the ball wasn't given into him.
So Niall Healy off, and on comes Kevin Broderick. Well, he's played his part, worked hard, battled against David O'Sullivan. He's only 20 years of age, Niall Healy, and hopefully he'll have many good days back here in Croke Park. But Kevin Broderick is a wonderful talent, coming in for his 23rd championship match. So far, he has to his credit 9 goals and 36 points. Galway needs some of them now. What's going to happen? Back goes David Tierney. Under pressure there from Tom Kenny, helped out by David Collins, went off a Cork leg. It's going to be a line ball. Whoops, just gets a little bit heated. They thought the referee was going to throw the ball in, and they were also having a little altercation of their own. Neil Ronan, the number 22 for Cork, involved in it. Again, the referee says, calm it down, boys. Let's play the game. Ollie Canning to take the sideline cut. His brother Joe has already won a minor All-Ireland this afternoon. Galway going for the double, but they're 2 behind. The champions are not going to give away their title lightly. They want 2 in a row. Shane Kavanagh dispossessed by Ben O'Connor. Good work by O'Connor. Niall McCarthy prodded it ahead, but it was no trouble to Liam Donoghue. Out to the corner here towards Tony O'Gregan. Up towards Ger Farragher. Now operating well away from full forward. He's on right half. This is taken by Pat Mulcahy. Released to space. Farragher in there with the 50-50 clash. It comes back to Pat Mulcahy. Feeding it beautifully ahead here to Ben O'Connor. Cork swing forward, playing in the centre of the field. That's brilliant accuracy. Everything he has struck, he has put it over the bar or into the goal. A goal and 6. Wonderful shooting. Hasn't missed a trick. Can't do much better than that from last year's captain.
Oh, he's having a brilliant game. You know, the thing is, Derek Hardyman is having a great game as well, but Ben is after getting 4 points since he went out of that left wing.
And here comes Sean O'Halpine. getting away from his man, who's Alan Kearns at this stage of the match, onto his right side, in towards Joe Dean, battling again there with Joyce, and again Joyce does well, helped out by Derek Hardiman this time. The diagonal ball across towards the goal scorer Damien Hayes and Kevin Broderick, and got out of play. The Kavanaghs there from Douglas in Cork, great supporters of Cork teams down the years. Just watch this catch here, superb. But then so many wonderful skills have been demonstrated in this match, which has had everything. And it now has 11 minutes left. The referee's got to throw the ball in, maybe Cork delayed. Been too many delays, I think the referee's decided. Let's get on with the match. It comes to Alan Kearns, nice pick up, then he loses it. Still goes forward, he was hit by John Gardner that time, and the referee will be on to Gardner very quickly. I think John was just coming across and wasn't anticipating the movement of Alan Kearns, and will accept his punishment here from referee Seamus Roach. It'll be a free into Galway and a chance to narrow the gap. It's a yellow card, 2 yellow cards for 2 Cork backs, David O'Sullivan and now John Gardner. There's going to be a temporary substitution required. Alan Kearns, Dr. Michael McGloin is in attending to us. We watch it again in reprise.
Yeah, Gerard's very high tackle. Yeah, sometimes you see those happening with maybe a pair of ducks in or whatever, but he was hit very high there.
Certainly was. No excusing it. He's been yellow carded. Éan Callanan is going to come on as a replacement for Alan Kearns. So they'll carry out the running repairs, and he'll be back for the last 10 minutes, I'm sure.
Gerard, Galway have made lots of mistakes in the second half, but they've kept plugging away. Now they're 2 points in it the last 10 minutes. I wonder is there a goal left in the game. You know, Galway have opened up the Cork backline for goal chances a bit easier than Cork have so far. Cork have been tipping the points over, especially Ben O'Connor. But you know, I'd be surprised if Galway don't have another goal chance before the end of the game.
Bear in mind, Michael, there hasn't been a draw in an All-Ireland hurling final since 1959.
Today could be the day.
Cork coming again. Once again it is Jerry O'Connor this time. Inside towards Niall McCarthy. Winning the duel and winning the battle in there is David Collins. Too much pressure, too much illegal pressure, the referee has decided. Once again penalising Cork, and once again a lot of the Cork fans are wondering why he made that call. Tony O'Gregan. Good catch again by Sean O'Halpine. Giving the leadership. Lobbed in towards Brian Corcoran. 2 points so far. Neil Ronan, none so far since coming in. And this time he wins a free. And I'm sure the Galway fans are wondering what was that about, but it was for a drag back. He got into space, his jersey was pulled, and that's the reason. Watch it again here. Arm reaching out, pulling him back.
Yeah, and Ollie Canning was under that high ball with Brian Corcoran. You know, we saw that with the Galway backs against Kilkenny, changing and picking up different men.
And this time there's a yellow card, and it's for Tony O'Gregan. So 3 yellow cards in the backs, so the ones being punished. Joe Dean with this very easy chance of getting his 3rd point of the game. And he has put 3 between them. Cork are 3 points up, and there are about 12-13 minutes to play. Another change. Niall McCarthy has been replaced by Kieran Murphy from Erin's Own. Man of the match in last year's final against Kilkenny, on a day when Cork had many stars. The clock is counting down. Liam Donoghue in a bit of a hurry, but still only a goal between them, and it's really anybody's match. Ronan Curran coming out here. Inside, but it favours the full-back. Good work there by Tony O'Gregan, getting it away from Brian Corcoran. Good timing, good clearance. Beautifully down as far as Broderick. Can he make an impact? That's not a good ball. It's straight to Ronan Curran. Under it here, David Collins trying to bat it. Just managed to do enough to get it away. Ollie Canning spooning it inside, going after it himself. Taken away from Kieran Murphy. Broderick there, not a good clearance. Straight to Tom Kenny, lashing it back into the Galway backline. Goalkeeper comes, lets it run, and it's a puck out. But there are now Just about, 7 minutes to go and a little under. Cork are still leading, 119 to 116. They've had a slight edge all through, but yet you wonder whether Galway can come with something extra special. Ronan Curran denying them. Great work on the half-back line once again. Brian Corcoran over there chasing is Tony O'Gregan, and that's a line ball for Cork. Tony O claiming he was being pushed. Well, the referee, I think, has had words with the umpire over there, who is Jerry Devlin from Armagh, decided it's going to be a Galway ball. David Ford's going off, and Kevin Hayes is coming on. Kevin Hayes, number 26. Will he be the hero? David Ford had a really good campaign. Damien Joyce. Galway battle, and it's Ger Farragher. Nicely down to Richie Murray. Oh, it's a real hit and hope one by Richie Murray. That's 9 wides now by Galway. Very wasteful. And you can't do that up against the reigning All-Ireland champions.
Yeah, Cork or Galway are finding it very hard to break down the Cork half-back line now. Since Sean Oak moved over here and Alan Kearns decided to feel doing very well, and Ronan Curran having a super game at centre-back today. His best game of the year by a mile.
Certainly is. David Collins playing well at left half-back for Galway. Towards Kevin Broderick, it's stolen away from him there by Brian Murphy. Whipped forward by Jerry O'Connor, and that lands over the bar. That could be a winner in the 30th minute of the second half. He's had 2 shots at the posts, and Jerry O'Connor has got both. 120 to 116 after Brian Murphy took it away from some of the Galway danger men. Look at the distance out that Jerry O'Connor was in. Huge distance away from the posts. He made it. Or Cork now to make it. David Collins back. Galway needing scores quickly. That's in towards Kevin Hayes. Just in the match about 30 seconds. Back to Ger Farragher. Nobody near him initially. Going into challenge there, Ben O'Connor. Slightly off balance as Ger Farragher was hitting that one. And it's 2 shots now that Galway have hit in the last couple of minutes that have been well off the target. Cork playing within themselves, playing a nice compact game, and they're leading by 4.
Yeah, and that's the way they've played all year, Joe. In every match they've played, they've just done enough. And, you know, you always feel there's a bit more in the tank if they need to pull it out. 5 points from their 2 midfielders today. Tom Kenny with 3, Jerry O'Connor with 2. And Galway have got 3 points from their midfielders, 8 points from the middle of the field. So it shows you the type of loose game. Here's Ben O'Connor again with another one.
Superb. 1-7 from Ben O'Connor. A match-winning performance by the O'Connor twins. And all of a sudden, Cork have a 5-point lead, and there are only 3.5 minutes left in the match. Brilliant strike by Cork's number 10. Great catch by John Gardner. Much happier since the move off Alan Kearns. Kearns, by the way, has come back into the match. He was replaced momentarily there by Angus Callan, the blood substitute, but he's back, and here he is, trying to win the possession here. And he stepped out over the sideline. John Allen applauding the Cork players for their non-stop pressure, in particular there, Sean O'Halpine. And Kearns wondering, is it going to be another one of those days like 2001, when they lost by just 3 points to Tipperary? Look at the pressure play here as he stepped out.
I don't think he stepped out.
Well, his foot was out, but the ball mightn't have been out.
Ball mightn't have been out, yeah. A harsh enough decision.
Jerry O'Connor. And that runs out over the end line. Galway need the ball back quickly. Young Cork fans won't care. They just want to see Brian Corcoran and his colleagues lift the McCarthy Cup for what would be the 30th time ever. Puck out. Oh, a mistake here by Pat Mulcahy. That's nicely back to Ger Farragher, and he is hooped very well by Tom Kenny. Galway have it back. This is Hayes, the substitute, hooked again. Great defensive work by Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Pat Mulcahy leaving for his goalkeeper, Donald O'Cusack. Well, twice in that last couple of moments, Galway had scoring chances. They don't quite have the experience of the big time. I'm sure they will in time. But Galway right now under pressure. Trying to win the ball back with Shane Kavanagh. Nicely out for Kevin Broderick. How he'd love to score. How the Galway fans would love to see him put the ball over the bar. Being kept at bay there by Brian Murphy. Forced out here as far as Damien Hayes. Well, softly hit in that time. Never got a good connection. And Diarmuid O'Sullivan defiantly drives it away out. And we're at the 69th minute of this match as Ollie Canning has got it back. Inside there to Fergal Healy. Galway in a hurry. They need a goal. Where is it to come from? John Gardner, cool as you like, under pressure, gets it away down towards Joe Dean. Joyce has had him in his pocket for most of this match. Derek Hardyman to get back. Haven't seen the board yet to see how many extra minutes there will be. John Gardner with Cork ahead by 5 points. And John Gardner has put it wide. But at this stage, as they say, it might be as good as a point.
Yeah, I think so, Gerard. I think when Galway look back at this, it looks like a win for Cork now. I think when Galway look back, you know, they're going to be very disappointed. Only 5 points in it, and really, you know, very few of the players have played anything like the form that they played against Tipperary.
2 added minutes to be played. Damien Hayes and company still have a chance, but they need goals. They know that. Oh, it was too hot to handle that time for Kevin Hayes, and he gave Ronan Curran the chance to get back, to clear. And now Cork will stand defiant, you can be certain. Damien Hayes from the sideline, and that one has gone wide. We're into the time added on for stoppages. Cork fans very, very pleased. Knew they were going to get a tough battle, and they have. Cork have created 34 scoring chances, taken 22. Galway have created 33 scoring chances, they've taken 17. Again, the pressure is on the Galway backs. It'll take some pressure off their colleagues at the other end, but that's where the ball is needed right now as Brian Corcoran puts the ball wide. And there's very, very little that Galway can do about it. The young fans are happy, but Galway want the ball down. Damien Hayes here, going short to Kevin Broderick. They gave a very good account of themselves for a long, long time. And right now they're looking for a goal chance. Diarmuid O'Sullivan surrounded by 3 Galway players. Can they get it in? They're still trying to get there with Richie Murray and Donal O'Cusack on the ground. Was he lying on the ball?
Yeah, that's a penalty. It's a very clear rule now, Jerry. You know, if you lie on the ball, it's a free. That should be a penalty.
It should be, especially where it happened that time.
It's going to bring it out and throw it in, and that's the old rule. But in about 2 or 3 years ago, that was changed. If you lie on the ball, it's a free end.
Should have been a penalty. Stopped again by the goalkeeper. Good stop by Donal O'Cusack. Some late scares for Cork from a very gallant Galway team. But Cork are still hanging on to their 5-point lead, and we have nearly played the 2 minutes of stoppage time in this 6th ever meeting of Cork and Galway in the final. It's looking like Cork's 100% record against Galway is going to be maintained in finals.
It is, Gerard, and I think 2 things. I think the move of Ben O'Connor from right corner forward out to left half forward after about 20 minutes decided this game. Ben O'Connor out to left half forward. He scored 5 points from place as it moved out.
He was your star.
He was a massive performance. And, you know, Galway will be disappointed, but fair play to Cork, 2 All-Irelands in a row. It hasn't been done for a long, long time.
Still Galway looking for something. A referee calling for the ball. I think it's over. It is, and Cork are still the champions. Cork retain the Liam McCarthy Cup. John Allen and his selectors have done the job. The county board wanted continuity after Donal O'Grady stepped aside at the end of the 2004 season. John Allen, one of the selectors then, came in. They maintained that sense of continuity. They came in as favourites. They justified favouritism. And at Croke Park, they have seen off the challenge of Galway. They've won it by 5 points. Heroes all around the park. Cork fans just delirious.
Just a quick word on Sean O'Halpine. You know, I know the man very well, but what an honour. I know it's a great honour for everyone, but his life is hurling. Came back from a horrific crash, and I know Satanta's out in Australia watching him, but a great day for Sean Oak, a great hurling man.
Tom Craig with Dollarashka Cortig. Curran Liam Bacori, go over the hand, Son, Sean Ogo Halfane. Cut down the floor now.